It's been a few years since T Supreme has jumped onto the scene now with a number of nominations under his belt and a fiery collaboration with Limo Blaze last year, track entitled Kingdom Bop. He's back with a brand new album and a brand new message. The album is called The Graceway. We've got the amazing T Supreme here. It's good to see you, my brother.
Nice to see you too, my brother.
Good to see you.
It'd be
Now, congratulations, welcome back. I love everything that you do because it's on a it's like gospel on a street level. I love it. I really love it. And it speaks to my boys, it speaks to my sons, and I love it. And also congratulations because you're on the Premier Gospel playlist as well.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Oh,
Oh, well,
wow.
that's
Oh,
you, yeah. There you go. I'm telling you this
praise
first. Yeah.
God.
So, I mean, hearing that for the first time, what does that mean to you?
That's a blessing, man. I didn't know about that. I was just thinking, raw, because I know that you guys have a new playlist going on. I don't know, a collaboration with Apple, I think. Oh, you done a collaboration with Apple somehow.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like just to hear that now, that's like good news. And the funniest thing as well, like this morning I was just praying with my wife and I was literally saying that I just feel like good news is always coming and this like every single day. And I feel like the best news is me taking the step of faith of actually releasing this album. So I'm actually just grateful, like good news is already here. And that's actually a shock because I would have never expected myself to be on a playlist like that straight away. So thank God, honestly.
Yeah, no, congratulations. And you said you were praying to your wife this morning about, stepping forward and doing this album. So many people think that it's easy doing an album
Uh,
that you just record and it's out. But, I mean, what did you go through in regards to there must have been some ups and downs in regards to getting this album out.
because of fear and resistance personally, um, I delayed the album a lot. Like I felt like there was so much delays. Because if releasing albums was easy, I would have made about 20 albums now. I've got over 90 tracks hidden there, and that's just 90 tracks out of the tracks I've just released now. So if that was the case, I would just release music like that. But it's a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual work. You have to understand this is not industry. It's not like just a normal thing where you just do things to please people or whatnot. This is actually spiritual work. A lot of thought goes into it. A lot of wisdom has to go into it. A lot of prayer, has to go into it. A lot of fasting, just spiritual activities that will, back you. You don't just get into something and just do it and that's why people don't last long because they don't understand spiritual principles. But I think just the resistance in itself and obviously the battle of the mind just telling me, okay, yeah, you're gonna release it. And then when it comes closer to time, I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like even the album, The Graceway, I always knew the album was The Graceway, but even the cover changed. Like I changed the cover. Like it was not that cover before. It was another cover. And even that cover was like, that's a bit boring. Then I don't know. I just randomly went through my camera roll and I saw this picture, me holding the diamond. And I was like, oh, this is actually quite a cool picture. The Graceway. It just looks fun. And I just done a little graphic designing because I graphic design all my album covers. So I just thought, okay, let me just do a little something on it, and then it actually looked good. And I was like, oh, this is quite cool and unique. And then even the songs, because these songs that you're hearing now, these are songs I made this year, and we're already in February. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's mixed with old songs from last year. But I was
So you
like,
made it this year, you said.
yeah, yeah, made
Wow.
it this year. Yeah, like
Wow.
pay the price. Pay the price was this year, 19. One Sign Part 2 was this year. Um, yeah, like a few of them were this year still. So I was just thinking, okay, let me mix it up with what I have from last year. But my wife was like, oh, I think you should like give them stuff like new stuff because like there's like a new grace on you now. So I think you should just give them the new you, not just like that's why I started off with One Sign Part 2 because that's like one of the most recent songs I made. I made that song like 2 weeks ago. So
Wow.
okay, cool. So I was like, okay, cool. Like she said that there's a new grace, so just use what's new now. Don't really give them the old you where there was not that there was no grace. There's always been grace there by the grace, but it's just like there's like a new found grace and a new sound of me has developed. So just give them that. And then that's what I just did. And even that, like I said, consulting with my wife, praying over it, sowing seeds, just fasting on it. Like like this album by the grace has to do well, because I don't think with all my other albums, I don't think I've taken that step before. I just usually just release and you know just go about it and then just believe God I'll see the fruits of it. But I'm seeing the fruits of it already, and it's only been day 2.
Wow. Now, you spoke of your wife. Congratulations, you recently married. Now, the Bible says, "He that findeth a wife findeth a good thing." Now, we can see that it's a good thing. How important has your wife been in the whole of the? Because it looks like it's been a restructure. You've been out with stuff before, but how important has this project been? In regards to your wife being involved in this.
It's been very important. I think she's been very like supportive, so it's made the process quite easy. Because like I said, with me, it was just a battle of the mind in my mind. But I think her support and her constant, you know, encouragement when I feel like I don't know, like just her reassurance, and she's very spiritual as well. So it really helps being with a spiritual lady, because sometimes us guys, we won't go through it. You need someone strong also there. But the fact that she's always there to always encourage, like, maybe this song, like even in terms of the order of songs, she was involved in that as well. It's like, I think this song should go first, this one should go last, this one will make sense. Because I was asking her from a fan's point of view, because she's the number one fan, isn't it? So I was asking from a fan's point of view, okay, what do you think then? Like from a fan's point of view, which one would be catchy? Which one do you think people will play most? And then she said this one, this, and then so I think her being involved and not giving me stress about it and actually just being there by my side has been very important, and it's really helped the process flow well.
Now, one of your biggest hits is Ease and Grace. I love that. Ta-na-na, 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 which is the sound of the telephone. If people don't know what that is, that's the sound of the Nokia, isn't it, back in the day? Ta-na-na, na-na-na-na. Now, how do you think you've grown from back then to now? What's the growth been like? Do you think it's just been a gradual growth, or you've just jumped straight into a different level?
Well, that's a good question. I think definitely there has been a gradual growth, because I didn't release music for a while. And I think obviously now just being more consistent in church. I've always been consistent, but even being more close to my pastor, following his grace, tapping into the grace, like literally reading my word more has increased. Like you can even see it in one's music that this guy is walking under sound doctrine and in line with God's word. So I think there's been a gradual growth, because like I'm learning every day. I think those days as well, even of ease and grace or whatnot, sometimes it gets to a point where you're so popular and everyone knows you, and then if you're not careful, it gets to your head. So I think I had to go through a stage of humility as well, and just calm down a bit. Not release too much, because like I said, when you release too much and then everyone knows your name, everyone starts hailing your name in a way, you become a bit big headed. So I think I went through a phase of just calming down a bit, and then that's why I didn't release any album, because the last time I actually released was Workings of Grace and More Grace. Those 2 albums came out straight after each other in 2021. I should have released something in 2022, if anything, but we're in 2023. So that just tells you that there's a lot of work that's gone into this album. There's a lot of work that's just gone into me, and a lot of developing and growing before I even just release prematurely and just like end my ministry before I even started. So I think there's just been a lot of just constant growth. I don't think it's been like, oh, I've just jumped into another level, but I think my levels has changed definitely since I've married as well. So yeah.
Yeah, congratulations again on that. So back to the album, Paid the Price is my song at the moment. I love that for many different reasons. One of the reasons is that you sampled LL Cool J track. And that particular track was one of his biggest comeback tracks in the early 2000s. I mean, why that particular song sample, and did LL play a part in your growing and as an MC as well?
Yeah, LL Cool J, that's like one of my favorite songs. When I was in the world, that was the biggest song. That song, I just love the instrumental. I just think the instrumental is amazing. And I think in the world, that's one of my favorite songs. But I was thinking like I want to do something different. I want to go for that B2K kind of vibe. I want to kind of go for that jiggy vibe that makes when people hear it, they want to dance and then flow a different way. Like just not for like the youngsters, but even for like the elders as well. Like, whoa, like because if you're really into music, you know that this sample is a Bad Boy sample. This sample is from like LL Cool J. And listening to that, I just saw it. I remember my producer, he came all the way from Australia to London to stay with me for a week. And that was the first song we made. And I said, I just because usually we've kind of attempted to make that song via online because he's 8 hours ahead. But usually it doesn't really work well. But this is the first time he's coming to London, and usually working with me in person is a lot easier. So I said, let's do this beat again, but this time let's do it by faith. Somehow this beat just came crazy. We were just playing around and I was like, no, this is it. And then we just flowed. I think Pay the Price is just it's just such a song that speaks to me in general. I don't know why I didn't even put it first, but I think I was just putting it with I was starting with the catchy ones first and then getting deeper and deeper. But Pay the Price is literally a crowd's favorite and it's actually my favorite as well. I think simply because of the message and obviously the time that I was in. I was in the month of sacrifice in our church. We had a theme. We always have a different theme of the month. And the theme of this month was like, oh yeah, sacrifice. So I was thinking, okay, something to do with sacrifice. And it just takes me back to like how much Jesus himself paid the price for us. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna make a song about it. I don't think I've made a song about sacrifice before. So yeah, that's how Pay the Price came. Pay the Price just came. We flowed. I made the song in like 30 minutes, and then the
Wow.
song was just amazing. Yeah, just done its thing. I don't write
So,
my music. I just flow.
like Jay-Z.
Yeah.
So, at the beginning, I said it's a brand new album, brand new message. What's the message behind this album?
The message behind this album literally is just going from grace to grace. The grace way is the way God has shown me grace. Um, I'm just expressing it through the music and just letting people know. Because before, obviously, the album Workings of Grace, it was Workings of Grace, then it was More Grace, and now it's Grace. Where I just feel like anytime I add the word grace, God's grace just lavishes upon a project and just takes it higher. And I think the name you give to anything will always speak for you. You can't have a bad name like Judas and then you think you're gonna ride life. You have to give your names significant names. So I just felt like anything to do with grace, yeah, that's it. Like, grace is grace, the grace way. I just thought, yeah, man, because it was just gonna be called. What's so funny? I was actually gonna name this album Ease and Grace, but I was like, that's so cheesy. Number one, and number two, I've already done that. Like, it's okay, man. We know Ease and Grace is fine. But yeah, anything to do with grace, because of I'm a person that's God has shown so much grace to, even my journey.
Mm.
That's why I just call it the grace way, and then tracks upon tracks, you can just see how it's just literally telling you a story. Like that's why I started off with One Sign Part 2, because One Sign, like God actually has shown me so much grace in during this journey because I could have been on the wrong side, but I'm now on the right side because of grace. So yeah, that's just really the story behind the Grace way.
Now, I noticed that there's no notable collaborations on this album. Is there
Yeah.
a particular reason why?
Yeah, I like that. I just like it, to be honest. I like having no collaborations or just one collab. I just feel like collaborations is all right, but it's a journey, it's a personal journey, it's a ministry. Like I see it like how I see myself in a sense is like when I'm ministering, I see myself like a pastor, but in a musical form. You don't have two pastors on stage preaching. You always have one. There should always be one. But in general, I just feel like this one, there just needs to be a concentration on the message, not too much. Because sometimes also you do collaborations And the people you get on the songs are not even like, it's not that they're not pulling their weight, but their spirit is different. And I'm very cautious of who I allow on a song. I don't just, if you notice on my songs, I don't really do collaborations because it's just like it's a certain spirit. It's spiritual work. Like I said, for goodness sake, it's not just industry. It's not like, oh yeah, I just get you on the track, you're hot. Let me jump on the song with you. No. If that was the case, I would have made a song with like probably everyone in the scene. Because I think a lot of people are talented. I think a lot of people are hot, but talent is not really what we need right now. It's the anointing we need. It's the oil. Is the grace on the person. You know what I mean? That's what makes you do. And I don't really see that much of today's UK gospel music of today. Like it doesn't really appeal to me. I think everyone's really trying to do this mainstream thing and trying to look popular or trying to look cool and just add Jesus 1, 2 here and there, and then they call it a gospel track, but they're not really sticking to the message. They're not really gospel artists. So for me, I just say, you know what, just to save time, make life easy, just do it on your own.
Wow. Well, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's the album is absolutely fine. Congratulations to you on that. You
Mm.
know, now you've done the album. What's next at this particular point now?
Can't really talk too much about the Grace. I'll release a few videos because I've got a few videos stacked up. But the videos I'm coming with, the quality is crazy. Like to me, and there's one thing I like about what I do as well. I think it's the quality control. I have high quality control. I don't just like release a song because it's a song. It has to be well mixed, well mastered. It has to be the quality of everything from like, because I just believe in having the spirit of excellence. So that's why I don't just release anything anyhow. Because you know you can have quantity and then the quality is not really banging sort of thing. So yeah, I think what's next for me right now is videos coming out, more albums, by the grace of documentary as well. Like I would love to really do a documentary or work on it, or even do like a short film about one's life, but in the modern day way. That's something I believe in God for. I've got also like a Q&A coming out soon, just about how I came into the faith and how the journey's been for me now as well. So yeah, there's a few projects coming out in general, but I think this year is just you're gonna just see a lot of T Supreme. There's gonna be a lot of consistency. There's gonna be a lot of versatility in terms of the music I make. Don't be surprised, I might make a reggae track one day and then boom. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm actually working on a few songs. So there might be a reggae track, there might be a funky house track, there might be garage. That things that people have never seen before, but that this is anointing, that this is actually purely grace because no one can just do these things straight away except God is with the person. So yeah, there's a lot to look forward to, which is
Well, I think we're looking forward to seeing that. The album, The Graceway, is available now. Where can one pick that up?
On all platforms, so you can check it out on Spotify, on Apple Music, iTunes, Tidal, Deezer, YouTube, everywhere on all platforms. Literally, it's just one click.
And also, and how can one follow you as well? Because there are a lot of people that follow on Instagram. How can they connect with you, see your day-to-day run-ins? How can they do that?
You can connect with me on TikTok. I love TikTok nowadays. I don't know why, but it's just fun. Just can follow me on TikTok. T Supreme, that's TEE Supreme. Instagram TEE Supreme. Twitter 1TEE Supreme. So 1T Supreme. So yeah, I'm literally on all platforms. I'm not hard to find. But yeah.
Thank you. T Supreme, The Graceway is available now. You just heard it to stream everywhere. T Supreme, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much, my brother, man. It's always a blessing. It's always an honor to come on Premier Gospel and show some love.
Bless you.